What is up, guys? Justin Jennings from Jennings Performance Coaching, back again. I'm going to talk a little bit more about mindset today with you guys. Talk about some mental health stuff and kind of the way you view the world. If you watched my last video about the, where you should put your focus on your circle of control, you may notice that I'm a disgusting human being because a week later I'm wearing the exact same clothes. Gross. No, I just filmed this immediately after that one. So, hope you guys liked that video. If you haven't seen it, I'll see if I can figure out how to drop a tag to it, like here or somewhere. But now let's talk about personal responsibility. Guys, thanks for watching. Hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you are, remember, like, subscribe, show some support. My channel is not monetized, so the only way that you can support this channel is by supporting me directly or supporting the brands that support me. I do coaching, so I help busy, hardworking people supercharge their bodies and their mindsets. It's physique and lifestyle coaching to help you feel better, both mentally, physically, be healthier, and be the best version of yourself. If that's something you're interested in, go ahead and click the link down in the description. Give me a shout over on WhatsApp, and we will see about working together. Also, for all of your supplement needs, I work with a supplement company called Titan Nutrition. There's a discount code down in the description there. If you click that link, you'll get 20% off your order. And right now, they're giving out free creatine with every order. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Remember, click the links, like, subscribe. Back to the video. So, being responsible for your own actions, taking accountability for the things that you do day in, day out, the way you act, the way you interact with people, all of that type of stuff. I'm going to sound like a grandpa here for a second, but the world that we live in, often people don't take accountability for what they do, the things they say. We often like to blame it on, whether it's the establishment or the way we were raised or somebody else. It's somebody else's fault. It's not my fault. The worst part about that mindset is that if it's always somebody else's fault, that you can't change it. If there's a negative aspect about yourself and that negative aspect is there because of somebody else, and that's the reason that you're the way you are, or that's the reason you have that negative trait, like, you can't change it. That's just the way you are. And I guess this is the best and worst thing about this, but like, if you can admit that, hey, I have control over this. This is the way I respond to situations. This is the way that I interact with people. This is the way that I feel about myself, or the way I feel about these situations. If you can admit that, like, I have control over this because that is an action that I'm doing, then you can change it. That can be scary because that means that if you don't change it, you have the power to, and you just don't. And so that's the reason I think a lot of this stuff gets played off as it's somebody else's fault, or it's the fault of my upbringing, or the establishment or society or whatever has caused this. And most of the time, that's just not true. If it may take some work. God forbid, if you're somebody that was subjected to like some type of abuse or something like that. Like, I don't want to be insensitive to that at all. That definitely can have an impact on the way you view situations and the way that you react to certain situations. But it's just an impact. That's part of your life experience. If you don't like the impact that that's had on you, you can change it, but it's going to take work, and it's your responsibility to put in the work. And so that aside, like I said, I don't want to be insensitive or disrespectful to people's experiences. If you're somebody that's been like subjected to some of the horrible things that like people I know that have been subjected to, it definitely is going to have an impact on you. But that's not to say that you don't have any control over it. Uh, the second that you say, I don't have any control over this, I'm that way because of what happened to me, uh, that person or that situation is won. They took your control away, or that situation took your control away. And that's exactly what it was designed to do. That's exactly what the abuse was designed to do. And so there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You don't need fixing. There just could be some negative aspects that stem from things like that. That if you want to change, if you wish to change, and I hope that you do, you have the power to do so. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. The way that you view these things can also kind of impact, your feelings about them. Often people tend to focus on the negative stuff. And so, let's go to something a little bit lighter here. Somebody that has like an anxious attachment style, they're that way because like their parents lashed out at them a lot. Like they had a volatile childhood, we'll say, and now they have an anxious attachment style. Most of the time, people just say, "That's the way I am. This is the way I am. This is the way I behave in relationships, whether that's with a friend or with a partner or whatever it might be. This is the way it is, and that's why." Okay, that's fine. You recognize that. That's step one. Let's start kind of trying to make some changes to that. But also, there's positive that can come from that situation as well. So, like I said, people always tend to focus on the negative. Like, I grew up in a volatile household like that. I have an anxious attachment style, and that's bad. Okay, but let's look at yourself. You're probably, if you're that person, you're probably really good at picking up on like social cues or emotional cues. Uh, you know, we all have that one friend that like can't take a hint, and you have to tell them like point blank, like this is the way it is. You're probably not that person. You can tell when somebody's frustrated, when somebody's upset, when somebody's uncomfortable in a situation, and so you're probably really good at reading the room. Probably really in tune with your emotions and other people's emotions, and so that's a positive that comes from that. Like if you're a perfectionist, this is one that I see a lot. A lot of people that I know kind of deal with this, but you're a perfectionist. Nothing's ever good enough for you. You say, you start looking a little bit deeper, you'll say, well, it's because of the way I was raised. My parents were really hard on me. Nothing I ever did was good enough. They always thought that I could do better. I never got the props for when I did do well or anything like that. Uh, and so now I, have this perfectionist mindset, and that's negative because I'm never happy with what I've accomplished. Okay, that's a fair point, but also like I bet I bet everything that you do is really high quality. If you're, if you're somebody that creates content and you have this like perfectionist mentality, I bet the content that you put out is pretty high quality. I bet that you strive to do really well in most aspects of your life. You're probably a pretty high performer. And so we focus way too much on the negative aspects of things that come like that. Like we don't, if you're going to attribute the negative to somebody else, you also need to attribute the positive to somebody else, I guess is what I'm saying. And so if you say, I'm a people pleaser because like that's the way I was raised, I couldn't stand up for myself, or I didn't, I wasn't allowed to have an opinion or whatever the deal may be there. Like you also have to say, well, the reason I'm really good at finding compromise and working with a team and in a group setting, all of that, I'm not like a dominating, overbearing person, is also because of the way I was raised, because I came up in that environment. And like, you don't want to have to say that. Like, you don't want to have to say that everything good that you've accomplished is because of the way your mother and father raised you. Like, you did that. But inversely of that, if that's also true, then like the negative things, you have to also recognize that you have control over that as well. And that's all I'm trying to say in this video. I see that, often in my space here, where somebody's out of shape and well, they were never taught how to eat correctly, or maybe they were obese from a young age because of the environment that they grew up in, and the food that was put in front of them. Fitness was never prioritized, like all of that type of stuff. I see that a lot in the fitness community. And like, okay, I get it. And I understand you're at a negative advantage versus somebody like, somebody that was brought up around fitness and where that was important and stuff. But you can make the change. It's kind of up to you at the end of the day. And so that's all I'm trying to say here. If you're somebody that is struggling with this and there's like some outside influences in your life that you feel are responsible for kind of the negative character traits that you have, maybe, or your negative like outlook on the world, just take a look inside, start looking at some things that you can do to change that, maybe course correct that a bit. What I do with my clients, we look at, mindset's the most important thing. For any goal, whether it's business, whether it's relationship, whether it's fitness, whatever aspect of your life, any goals that you have, having the correct mindset to achieve that is one of the most important things that is going to put you on that right path. So that is one of the big things I do with my coaching. Is it's not just body, body and mind. That's all one system, and so focusing on things that you can control, controlling that, personal responsibility, making decisions that might be hard, might be difficult, may be uncomfortable, but they're going to benefit you in the long term, because when you can recognize that, oh, I'm about to, do this negative thing, or I'm about to react negatively in this situation, and you can course correct that, over time, you're going to train that muscle in your mind that says, hey, I can correct this. I have control over this, and it's going to be a non-issue. So if that's something you're struggling with, guys, reach out to me. I would love to talk more with you about this. I hope some of the information in here was helpful to you guys. Remember, all my links are down in the description. If you want to contact me, my WhatsApp is down there as well. That's where I do all of my coaching communication. Discount codes for Titan and Thorne down there as well. Go get yourself some great supplements from either one of those companies. I really trust both of those. That's all I use pretty much. And thanks for watching, guys. Until next time. Hope this was helpful. Have a great day. Talk soon.